Yeah, I carry it around in a tote bag. It's not the most secure, so that's probably why my pedals break all the time. But it's a special made tote bag that I sewed with like Velcro up the sides so that I can carry it on at least and don't have to check it. I used to sneak this on top of my like carry-on bag and like be like, oh yeah, it's definitely only 7 kilos. Don't worry about it. Hi, I'm Liz Stokes from The Beths, and this is my Bored to Death. So I'm playing it's a G&L Fallout. That's the tribute one, which I think is the slightly cheaper line. But yeah, I've been playing it for a long time. I like that it's like it plays really nicely. The moment I picked it up and bought it, I was stoked with it. But it's not so expensive that I feel like I have to be really precious with it or anything. But yeah, it's a really great guitar. Made in Indonesia, which is I'm from Indonesia, so it's good. Sounds good. Okay, so I start off with a Polytune tuner. It's nice to be in tune. From there, I've got this Keeley compressor, which I only use a couple times during the set. I basically have it at maximum level, but it's just for the song Out of Sight. It gives it a tiny boost and just stops there being so much low end. And I also use it when I'm doing like a strummy type of song, like that almost would be played on an acoustic, but we don't tour with an acoustic at the moment, so I'll just turn the sustain down slightly so it's a bit quieter. So there's just a little bit less bass in there, but you can get a good jangle sound. From there, it goes all the way across here to the hotcake, which my board used to exactly be this long, but now I've added this pedal, which means that this one has to sit here so I can access it. Because almost all the times that I play pedals, I'm singing at the microphone at the same time and trying to do it like out the corner of my eye. So I like to have them all on the first row, except for that one. Yes, I've got a hotcake here, just the Crowther hotcake, which is like my first distortion, my like most transparent one. And I kind of alternate between it being like about here to something like Great No One or Dying to Believe, where I'll crank it up with the humbucker on. Yeah, so it's just like a nice versatile distortion. For something like You Wouldn't Like Me, like the verses will be there. And we'll switch from this one to, this is a King of Tone clone, which this side's broken, so I'm just using this side. Because my pedal, which is actually normally like I think an OCD that I have there, just like the next stage up for me in terms of the next level of distortion with like a tiny boost. And I'll often play kind of these two together. So to like thicken up a chorus, or to like, if I want to give the next section of a kind of a little boost, I'll go with this pedal. I play it in Expert in a Dying Field, which we've played in combination with this Thermae. So you get kind of that silly sound at the start. And then I've got the Rat, which it's just nice to have the Rat on the board because sometimes my pedals break and it feels like it can like fill in for any of the other ones if something happens. But in the meantime, it's just like that next stage up of distortion. So I use it in Don't Go Away to like. I use it in Uptown Girl, where I switch from. again, it'll be in combination with the hotcake. And from there, we've got the EarthQuaker hoof pedal, which is my fuzz. So I use it in a place like Little Death. I'll use it and just like have it be that sound. I use it in Silence is Golden. I'll combo it with this, with the volume down a bit because it gets pretty loud. Kind of my definitive fuzz sound. I use it in the start of a song called Jump Rope Gazers, but I'll turn the fuzz a bit down and the volume up a bit. Oopsie, I don't normally have the humbucker on there, but that's the kind of idea. Yeah, and then I've got this Chase Bliss Thermae, which I was previously playing an MXR carbon copy as the delay. Like Jonathan, I don't really have a reverb on the board, so anything where I'm like clean and trying to go for a slightly like, I don't know, vibey kind of sound, I like the delay just because it's a bit more obvious, and particularly live, I feel like something as subtle as a reverb might not necessarily come across. So yeah, I switched to Thermae for this tour because we have just like a few different tempos, and I was switching back and forth a lot, just using the knob to like approximate, because on the MXR the time is a knob. So in this one it just means I can have like a couple of presets. Yeah. I just think it's a really nice, pretty pedal, and I use it for anything that requires delay on the board. Yeah, and then this is fun. This is the newest edition, which is a Lo Fi pedal. It's an Ibanez LF7 Lo Fi pedal. It's just like a EQ pedal, but it's also got a drive in it, which is really fun. Kind of combine it to. It's really fun to play that pedal there, but I've also started using it in Great No One, where I play it in the first verse. So we can have a moment where, on the recording, I think it's the drums that are kind of like filtered, and then they kind of open up, but in the live setting, it's quite easy to kind of do it on the guitar and then open up the sound and have the band come in. Having just recorded, you go through that process of like working out what songs you're playing from that and how to kind of like rearrange them for what you have and whether you need to add anything. And so for me, that meant adding this, the LF7. Yeah, it's always a little bit complicated. It's like you just have to kind of rearrange it for what you have. But you know, we're not a band that's like necessarily going for an exact replica of what's happening on the recordings. I feel like the live set is its own thing, and what's more important is like that you have a clear idea of like what's happening at any one time. Like I feel like it's more important rather than having like all 5 parts that are there on the recording. I feel like it's better to have like 3 of them, but they're really clear and you can kind of hear them from the audience.